Hello and welcome to my channel. Before moving on, hit the like button and subscribe and press the bell icon and comment your country. On the evening of May 4th, 2018, just after 1 p.m., Sarah Taylor made a chilling discovery that would change her life forever. As she stepped into her bedroom, her heart stopped at the sight before her. Her husband, Alex Taylor, lay motionless on the bed, his body cold and stiff. A belt was tied tightly around his neck, and his lifeless eyes stared blankly into the void. The scene was both horrifying and surreal. Sarah's chest tightened as panic surged through her. She instinctively covered her mouth to stifle a scream, her mind racing to comprehend the nightmare unfolding before her. With trembling hands, she reached for her phone to call 911, her voice barely above a whisper as she struggled to get the words out. "My husband. He's not breathing. I think he's dead," Sarah stammered, her voice cracking with terror. The operator, sensing the gravity of the situation, remained calm, asking Sarah vital questions to gather information and keep her grounded until help could arrive. Within minutes, the wail of sirens shattered the silence of the usually tranquil Oakwood Drive. Paramedics rushed into the Taylor residence, their faces etched with focus and determination. Inside the bedroom, they confirmed the worst. Alex Taylor was gone. His lifeless body painted a haunting picture of a life abruptly and tragically cut short. One paramedic gently escorted Sarah out of the room as another began to secure the scene. The gravity of the moment was palpable, marked by Sarah's anguished sobs echoing through the air. Her world had crumbled in an instant, leaving her grappling with an unthinkable loss. Alex Taylor, at just 39 years old, was a renowned figure, a self-made millionaire and the brilliant CEO of Taylor Technologies, Inc. Born and raised in Bedminster, New Jersey, Alex had always been a standout individual. He excelled academically, attending Bedminster Township Public Schools before earning a bachelor's degree in computer science from Stanford University. His ambition was undeniable, and he quickly turned his dreams into reality. After graduating, Alex co-founded his first company, paving the way for his eventual establishment of Taylor Technologies, Inc., a trailblazer in software solutions. But his meteoric rise to success truly began when his company developed an extraordinary artificial intelligence platform that revolutionized the tech industry. The platform's groundbreaking capabilities attracted investors, dazzled the media, and captivated the public, elevating Alex to the pinnacle of the tech world. As his company soared to global prominence, so did Alex's personal profile. He became a sought-after speaker, gracing the stages of elite tech conferences and captivating audiences with his visionary insights. His magnetic personality, inspiring journey, and entrepreneurial brilliance made him a media darling. Features in major publications and appearances on top news channels solidified his reputation as a tech industry icon. It was during this whirlwind period of success that Alex met Sarah, the woman who would become his wife. Sarah, a successful event planner, was organizing a high-profile tech conference where Alex served as the keynote speaker. Their first meeting was brief but electric, a connection neither could ignore. Fate intervened again a few weeks later at a charity gala, and their relationship blossomed from there. Sarah admired Alex's intelligence, passion, and kindness, while Alex was captivated by Sarah's elegance, grace, and relentless dedication to her craft. Together, they were a power couple, unstoppable, admired, and deeply in love. Their shared passion for philanthropy and community engagement only deepened their bond. The couple's love story culminated in a fairy tale wedding attended by the elite of the tech and social world. The event was so glamorous that it was featured in top lifestyle magazines, cementing their status as an enviable power couple. Alex and Sarah's life seemed perfect, their union a blend of love and ambition. But behind the glitz and glamour, cracks were beginning to form, cracks that no one could see. Alex had been planning a grand 40th birthday celebration, complete with a roaring 40s theme, live jazz, and a yacht with breathtaking views of the Manhattan skyline. It was to be an unforgettable milestone. Sarah, ever the planner, was organizing every detail, yet this celebration would never come to pass. Before Alex could mark his 40th year, his life was tragically cut short, leaving behind a shattered community and a party that would never be. The police arrived swiftly at the Taylor residence, led by Detective Emily Rodriguez and her partner, Detective Michael Chen. Detective Rodriguez was known for her razor-sharp attention to detail, while Detective Chen had a reputation for his uncanny ability to read human behavior. Together, they wasted no time in diving into the investigation. The crime scene in the bedroom was a grim tableau of chaos and tragedy. Detective Rodriguez scanned the disarray with a focused intensity. Two coffee mugs, one with a faint lipstick stain, lay discarded on the floor next to an empty cookie packet and a crumpled bakery wrapper. A satin nightgown was casually draped over a lamp, and the bed's covers were tossed aside, the sheets untucked. At the center of it all was Alex's lifeless body, naked with a belt around his neck, and the unmistakable signs of a violent struggle etched onto his face. The lack of forced entry suggested Alex knew his assailant. The presence of the lipstick-stained coffee mug pointed to a guest, someone who had been with Alex in the hours leading up to his death. Every detail hinted at an intimate encounter that had turned devastatingly violent. Detective Chen began photographing the scene meticulously, capturing every angle, every detail. Meanwhile, Detective Rodriguez collected fingerprints from surfaces around the room, hoping for a match in the database. The belt, identified as the murder weapon, was carefully bagged for analysis. Under Alex's fingernails, DNA samples were collected, suggesting he might have fought back against his attacker in a desperate bid for survival. As the forensic team arrived, they set to work with a sense of urgency. Using specialized lights, they searched for bodily fluids and gathered fibers and hair samples from the bed and surrounding areas. Each piece of evidence was critical to unraveling the mystery of Alex's final moments. Outside the usually quiet neighborhood of Oakwood Drive was a scene of hushed chaos. Curious neighbors peeked from behind curtains, whispering to one another about the tragedy unfolding just steps away. Others stayed inside, uneasy about the potential danger. The street was eerily silent, save for the occasional hum of a passing car or the murmur of officers coordinating their investigation. The weight of the tragedy hung in the air like a dark cloud. Detectives Rodriguez and Chen worked tirelessly through the day, their determination unwavering. They knew that unraveling this case would require painstaking effort and meticulous attention to detail. But they were driven by a singular goal: justice for Alex Taylor and closure for a community left reeling from his sudden, senseless death. By the morning of May 5th, the detectives had summoned their first person of interest to the station for questioning, Sarah Taylor. While they had briefly spoken to her at the scene, they needed more detailed answers. Sarah entered the interrogation room, her face pale and drawn, a stark contrast to her polished demeanor in happier times. Detectives Rodriguez and Chen began with straightforward questions, their sharp eyes trained on her every move. Sarah explained that she had been working late on the night of Alex's murder, finalizing the details for an upcoming wedding event at a local venue. She provided emails and text messages to support her alibi. Initially, her story seemed credible. However, as the questioning deepened, cracks began to show. Sarah's insistence on her innocence felt rehearsed. She over-explained her activities, a trait that both detectives noted as unusual. As Sarah spoke, her hands fidgeted nervously. She avoided direct eye contact and occasionally glanced around the room as though searching for an escape. Her voice trembled slightly, betraying the tension she was trying to conceal. Detective Rodriguez, ever the observer, leaned in closer, her instincts alerting her to something amiss. Detective Chen's penetrating gaze remained fixed on Sarah, searching for inconsistencies. The detectives exchanged a knowing glance. Sarah's behavior suggested she was hiding something. They decided to investigate further, scrutinizing her timeline and activities in greater detail. If Sarah wasn't being entirely truthful, they needed to uncover why, and fast. The investigation turned to the venue where Sarah claimed to have been working late. Reviewing security footage, the detectives made a startling discovery. The footage showed Sarah leaving the venue hours earlier than she had claimed. Later that evening, she was captured on camera at a nearby hotel. What's more, she wasn't alone. In the hotel footage, Sarah was seen checking into a room on May 3rd, 2018. Roughly an hour later, a man in a fedora and sunglasses entered her room. The two spent hours together, leaving separately around 3 p.m. Before parting ways, they were seen in the parking lot, exchanging a kiss, a damning image that threw Sarah's alibi into question. This mysterious man became a person of significant interest in the case. Who was he, and what was his connection to Sarah? Could he be linked to Alex's murder? Detectives Rodriguez and Chen knew they were on the verge of uncovering something explosive, and they weren't about to stop now. Detectives Rodriguez and Chen delved deeper into the identity of the man in the fedora. Their investigation revealed that he was a 23-year-old fitness model and entrepreneur who went by the nickname the Muscle Maverick. Known for his chiseled physique and charismatic persona, he had built a sizable following on social media. However, rumors swirled around his reputation, whispers of a darker side to his business dealings. Some claimed he offered more than just fitness coaching to his predominantly wealthy, older clientele. The detectives discovered that Maverick had been involved in discreet relationships with women who were often seeking attention or companionship. His charm made him a magnet for clients with deep pockets and unmet emotional needs. Maverick's role in Sarah's life now seemed far more complicated than a casual fling. Could he have been involved in Alex's death? And if so, why? The detectives brought Maverick in for questioning on the afternoon of May 6th. He arrived at the station with a confident stride, his demeanor calm and unshaken. Taking a seat in the interrogation room, he met the detectives' probing questions with direct and seemingly candid answers. Maverick admitted to his relationship with Sarah, revealing that they had met at a fitness event and had been romantically involved for months. He confessed that Sarah had confided in him about her unhappiness in her marriage, but he denied any involvement in Alex's murder. According to him, he had been at a photo shoot at the time of the crime and provided the name of the photographer as his alibi. Though his responses were straightforward, detectives Rodriguez and Chen weren't convinced. Maverick's confidence felt calculated, almost too polished. They decided to verify his alibi by contacting the photographer and reviewing the timeline of his supposed photo shoot. The photographer confirmed Maverick's presence, and the timeline appeared to match. However, during their analysis of the shoot's photos, an intriguing detail emerged. The photographer mentioned that Maverick had taken a phone call during the shoot, one that appeared to agitate him. This revelation prompted the detectives to obtain a warrant for Maverick's phone records. What they found would shift the investigation into an even more sinister direction. The phone records revealed an extensive exchange of text messages and calls between Maverick and Sarah in the days leading up to Alex's murder. The messages were cryptic but deeply suspicious. One chilling text from Maverick read, "I'll handle it. You'll be free soon." Another exchange hinted at a planned meeting, suggesting that their affair was more than a simple love story. It was part of a broader, more sinister plot. As the detectives dug further, they uncovered another startling twist. Maverick had been sending intimate photos of Sarah to a third party, a man identified as Victor. To their shock, Victor's phone number was traced back to none other than Alex Taylor's office. Victor was Alex's secretary. Armed with this new lead, detectives Rodriguez and Chen wasted no time in confronting Victor. They obtained a warrant and arrived at Alex Taylor's office, finding Victor visibly nervous at his desk. His hands fidgeted with a pen and beads of sweat formed on his brow. The detectives escorted him to the interrogation room, where the walls seemed to close in on him as the questioning began. At first, Victor tried to maintain his composure, denying any wrongdoing. But under the relentless pressure of the detectives' pointed questions, cracks began to form in his story. Finally, Victor broke down and revealed a web of manipulation and greed that had spiraled out of control. Victor admitted to orchestrating a blackmail scheme involving Sarah and Maverick. He had discovered Sarah's affair through a chance encounter with Maverick on social media and saw an opportunity to exploit the situation. Using the intimate photos Maverick had sent him, Victor devised a plan to extort money from Sarah. He had threatened to expose her affair to Alex unless she paid a hefty sum. Victor confessed that he had pushed Maverick to pressure Sarah further when she refused to comply. The night of May 3rd, Victor had called Maverick during the photo shoot to give the green light for their plan. But, as Victor claimed, the situation had taken a turn he hadn't anticipated. Alex was dead, and Victor insisted that murder had never been part of his scheme. Victor's confession painted him as a cunning opportunist, but his claims left crucial questions unanswered. What role had Sarah and Maverick played in Alex's death? Were they merely pawns in Victor's plot, or were their motives darker than they appeared? The detectives intensified their focus on Sarah. Reviewing surveillance footage, they uncovered a telling sequence of events. Sarah had been seen at a local mall on the afternoon of May 3rd, purchasing cleaning supplies and heavy-duty trash bags. This discovery suggested a potential cover-up, but it was the footage from later that night that provided a chilling insight. Cameras captured Sarah returning home, where she remained for several hours. Just before midnight, she was seen leaving her house in a state of apparent distress, speeding away in her car. Her destination? The event venue where she claimed to have been working late, a lie that the detectives had already debunked. The mounting evidence against Sarah prompted a second interrogation. This time, she struggled to maintain her earlier poise. The detectives presented her with the lipstick analysis, linking her to the crime scene, and the footage showing her suspicious purchases. Cornered, Sarah's composure shattered. With trembling hands and tear-filled eyes, she began to confess. In a torrent of emotion, Sarah admitted that she had confronted Alex on the night of his death. Fearing that Victor and Maverick had already sent compromising photos to Alex, she had panicked. A heated argument escalated into a physical struggle. In a moment of desperation, Sarah grabbed a belt from beside the bed and wrapped it around Alex's neck. She insisted that she never intended to kill him, that it had been an impulsive act born of fear and anger. Sarah's confession was the turning point in the investigation. Detectives Rodriguez and Chen listened intently as she detailed the tragic series of events. She explained that Victor and Maverick's threats had pushed her to the edge. On the night of Alex's death, she had returned home intending to confront him and stop him from discovering the compromising photos. But when she saw Alex opening his phone, panic consumed her. Convinced he was about to see the images, she tried to snatch the device from his hands. The struggle that followed spiraled out of control. "I didn't mean for it to happen," Sarah sobbed, her voice barely audible. "I just wanted to stop him, to protect myself." Despite her claims of unintended harm, the detectives knew the evidence painted a darker picture. Her purchases of cleaning supplies and trash bags, her attempt to establish a false alibi, and her entanglement in Victor's scheme all suggested a calculated effort to cover her tracks. Sarah's confession, combined with the forensic evidence and surveillance footage, formed an airtight case against her. She was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Maverick, though initially a person of interest, was cleared of direct involvement in Alex's death. However, he faced public backlash for his role in the blackmail scheme and his unethical behavior. Victor, on the other hand, was charged with conspiracy to commit extortion and obstruction of justice, ensuring that he would spend years behind bars. The trial that followed was swift and garnered widespread media attention. Prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence of Sarah's guilt, while her defense team argued that she had acted in a moment of fear and desperation. However, the jury was unconvinced by her claims of an unintentional act. On May 15, 2018, Sarah was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to death. As the sentence was read, the courtroom was enveloped in a tense silence. Sarah's expression was one of shock and despair as the reality of her fate set in. Her execution date was set for June 2, 2018, leaving little time for appeals. The community of Oakwood Drive was left grappling with the aftermath of Alex's tragic death. His contributions to the town had been immeasurable. He had been a philanthropist, a mentor, and a driving force behind many local initiatives. Without his leadership, the annual charity run he had founded was canceled, and the local community center faced closure. The food bank he had supported struggled to keep its doors open. On June 2, 2018, Sarah Taylor's life came to an end by lethal injection. Her execution marked the conclusion of a tragic saga of betrayal, greed, and desperation. The story of Alex and Sarah Taylor became a cautionary tale, a reminder of how lies and deceit could unravel even the most seemingly perfect lives. The Taylor tragedy left a scar on the community, but Alex's legacy endured. In his memory, friends and colleagues established scholarships and funded initiatives he had championed. Though his life had been cut short, the impact of his generosity and vision continued to inspire those he had touched. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe and hit the like button. Comment your favorite part in the video.